Hi, I've been talking to lots of people about lots of parents who are thinking about bringing their children to the rebellion for Extinction Rebellion in London next week, and I thought it might be useful just to say a few things about it. Now that we know a lot more after the April Rebellion, there's some really good lessons we've learned. So I'm not talking on behalf. This isn't on behalf of Extinction Rebellion. I'm in touch with the families group who are organising the families space there. Um, but I'm not speaking on their behalf. They've done some really good work organising things, and so I'm just speaking independently, following on with thoughts that I've already expressed about how we support children in activism and how we support children in the face of the climate crisis. So, firstly, to say that I've talked in other videos about the importance of co-regulation, about how the primary factor for children's safety is how safe and calm and regulated their parents are, or the adults around them. So the first thing about thinking about taking a child to any event or any activism is how safe and happy the adult feels doing that, and how much they can stay present and stay aware of what their child is feeling and needing. And that's easy to say, and sometimes when you're involved in something really interesting, it's very easy to get distracted and involved and engaged. And I think the important thing is just to be able to stay aware of how your child is, because because of the mechanism, the neurobiological mechanism that children use to connect to adults, that's their main source of safety. So whatever's going on around, if the adult is present and aware of them, then the child will be fine. Um, so about the rebellion particularly, what I experienced in April, and what is clearly going to be even better actually this time, is that the families group have put a huge amount of work and attention into creating safe family spaces where younger and older children can be and where parents can be. They're organising entertainment, creative activities, chances to be involved. And that whole space is going to be at the Mall in London, which is a very wide space with a park, with St James's Park on one side. So very easy to move off and get into some, back into the public world. You're not going to get trapped in the rebellion. Um, what else? There's going to be talks and workshops for parents, and I think one of the interesting things about the rebellion is, as well as causing disruption, it's aiming to create the world we all want to see, and that's the very exciting bit I think for families going, is that you end up experiencing a whole new way of being families together. So a huge level of community support and engagement and well-being, care, and opportunities for children to do interesting things, and a lot more support for parents than you get in most places that you'd take your children. So in that sense, it's like a safer place to be than anywhere else in London during the rebellion. In that there's a lot of thought and care and community building. And having said that, however much preparation and planning is going on, it is still a rebellion, and it is still occupying a street that's otherwise supposed to be open to traffic. It will feel very protected, and there will be plenty of time to make decisions if you want to move away, if you don't like what's happening there. But there's a lot of thought and consciousness going into how what children are exposed to. However, it's a rebellion. It's going to be fluid. Things will be happening. It will be some things will be unpredictable. So I think the important thing there is to just know that you need to, like you are everywhere, follow your instincts about what's appropriate and safe for you and your children, and know that you can just step out of it anytime you want to. So I want to say a couple of practical things about how maybe to make it the best experience. I think for children's well-being, it would be really helpful to do some preparation beforehand, telling them what it is you're going to, why you're doing that, what the cause is, if you like. And I know that's a whole other subject about how much we tell children about what's happening on the planet. And I'll say more about that, and I have said more about that at other times. But just letting them know that there's going to be a lot of people there, and the reason we're going is to protect our planet because we love the earth and because we want to really tell people that it's worth protecting, for example, and that there'll be a lot of people there might be a lot of noise, there'll be different activities to take part in, and just to help them prepare. And I would really recommend seeking their informed consent about that. Are you happy to go? Older children might already have a sense or fear around it and might not be so willing. And I think it's really important to take that into account. They might have heard things at school or be worried about it. So some information, and part of that preparation, I think, needs to be agreeing some words or signal that the child can give you if they're really not feeling safe, like a safe word. And that on the understanding that as soon as they do that, they've got your complete attention, and that you will get them out of there, even if you're really involved and engaged. So sorting that out with your child beforehand, and of course the usual things about taking loads of water, food, and having your phone number on their arm. If it's young people, like teenagers that you're going with, I think all that still applies. But it might be that they then move further from you or go and get involved in something that's not with you. And just want to make the very practical point of, even if you've both got phones, please make sure you know each other's number. You've got it written on your arm or a piece of paper in case you lose your phone. So many of us rely on having each other's numbers in our phone, but we need our children's numbers. We need to know them by heart or have them written down. And also to say to any child, if you get lost or if you feel unsure and they can't see you straight away, there's going to be a whole load of wellbeing people there. Last time they were wearing blue sashes. I imagine they'll do that again. There's every place in the rebellion, there'll be a whole hub of wellbeing people whose job it is to make sure people are okay. So, like I said, there's so much more attention to children's safety at the rebellion than there is in normal life. It's inspiring to be part of, and fantastic opportunity for children to see and experience how they can make a difference in the world by getting together peacefully, creatively, and in community. Having said that, the MAL is part of the zone of the rebellion that's all about creativity, community, and ecology. So they've deliberately integrated into the wider venue. So it's not just a creche on the side. If as a parent you're worried about missing the main action, you're not going to, because that's part of one of the sites of the rebellion, with a lot going on around those themes of creativity, community, and ecology. So there's going to be loads of speeches and talks and music, like there is in other places. So one last thing I wanted to say, which is, I think, about the importance of debriefing afterwards. It might be that children see banners or hear words or experience things or see difficult things that they need help in processing afterwards. And so I just want to recommend that as an adult that you get time to debrief afterwards. Maybe if there's a strong XR group at home, that you arrange debriefing circles afterwards, that you make sure you've got a buddy, maybe you're part of a family's group, and you can talk to people about that at the rebellion if you want to, if you haven't got that support at home. But I really recommend getting support from someone who's been there and understands, to be able to debrief what that experience was like for you and help you then do that for your child. How did they find it? What thoughts do they have? What do they remember about it? Any worries that they've got, anything that needs sort of picking up and answering. And I just want to make the point about protection, that we all want to protect our children, and one of the very painful things at the moment is how difficult it is to protect them from knowing too much about the emergency that we're facing, and how difficult it is to protect them from information about that. And that's one of many people's worries about going to the rebellion, is that it might expose their children to lots of information and messages that are difficult to process. And the point I want to make about that is that there's so much we can't protect our children from in terms of information. It's coming from everywhere now, at school and in the playground and in the community. But what we can protect them from, and what we need to protect them from, is holding that alone. So our main job as parents and as adults who care about the children in our world is to be alongside them, willing to listen to what they're saying and taking them seriously and giving huge empathy and understanding. So protection for children comes with accompanying them, being alongside them and not leaving them on their own with difficult things. And I really encourage all of us to bear that in mind in terms of preparing for and debriefing from the rebellion. So I hope that's useful, and we need a lot of people to be there. This is a crucial time, and the world we want to see includes children, and they are working really hard to make sure that children are included safely at the rebellion. And having said that, if you're freaked out about it, if you're anxious, if you just feel anxious just at the idea of going to London or being part of crowds, then that's really normal, and it's really fine not to go. It's fine not to be there. And if you feel like you want to be there because you want to be part of things, but actually it feels too much, then please know there is so much you can do at home, in your community and in your house. You know, there's so much you can do that supports the cause of earth protection. So please feel that you don't have to be there if you don't want to be, and if you do want to be there, then please feel reassured that there's so many good things about that. Yeah, that's it. Okay, thank you, and go well, whatever you decide to do.